Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel for another video. I feel like today is a little bit more of a chilled, relaxing kind of vlog. Yeah, I feel like there's been obviously a couple of eventing ones, packing one that I suppose for you guys watching at home probably is still just as relaxing, but for me, like there's so much to sort of cram into those vlogs. There's so much more going on, but today is a nice chilled, relaxed one. It is a glorious sunny Sunday afternoon, and I am going to take both ponies for a little bit of a schooling session, but they are very much enjoying their snoozing. They've been in for a little while, haven't you? Yes, that's why I was trying to get some shut-eye until you started speaking. Oh, Spritey. They do quite enjoy just coming in. Yesterday I had a full-on non-horsey day, so they were out eating for their heart content. It felt really strange, actually. I can't remember the last day that was like full-on, of a weekend that was full-on non-horsey. But it was really nice, really enjoyed it. It was actually a full-on wedding day. Bridesmaids dress shopping, which was actually very successful. Shoes for me. I actually started looking at some suits for Chris. So yeah, oh, Hendu as well. How could I forget that? Hendu also very much planning, started. Yeah, anyways. Very exciting. I feel like time is disappearing for that, and in a minute I just feel like in a second we're going to be Christmas, because we know that the countdown down to Christmas just goes so quickly, and then once Christmas is out the way, I've literally got 5 months, which I know some people have messaged me as well and been like, oh, I planned everything in 5 months, and I'm like, whoa, like that is seriously impressive. But anyways, enough on the wedding talk. I feel like I need to mention this. If you haven't seen the YouTube short, but look, nameplates are finally up. Addie's has gone over here because, as you'll probably know, she would chew Lola's one there, so I thought best put it up a little bit and out of reach so she can't get it. And then of course Spritey's got one too, haven't you, Sprite? I just love the detail of their face. Like, your blaze actually is like that, like goes wider there, doesn't it? Yes. And yeah, just such good detail, love it. And that it's got their full show name, and obviously their short name, their stable names too. Short names, stable names. But yes, gonna take them both up to school. I've done all the chores of like mucking out and stuff before they came in, and then I've just been up the field in my grass arena on the ride-on lawnmower, which is a new addition to us at the moment. I used to go up there with like a push one, or Dad would go in with the topper actually, but now I've got the ride-on lawnmower. It makes it so much easier, and it's looking so smart. I've put out some poles, basically like the exercise that Fred had me doing down at his, but I'm kind of going to use them as maybe a bit of a distraction and to help with like our rhythm and things like that. But today I had to have a shoe refitted, which unfortunately doesn't have a stud hole in for Addie, so I'm going to be going up there with no studs. I don't know whether you put in 3 studs and then it's only 1 foot without, or I don't know. Maybe I will put in 3. I just don't know if that'll make them more unbalanced. Not quite sure. I will think about that. But actually, I want to go up there and work on our walk. Our walk is something that she gets very, I suppose, tense, but she goes against my hand into the walk from the free walk. She jogs a lot and just gets tense, so I want to go up there and actually, so it might be a bit boring for you guys, so apologies, but it is something that quite often in our tests, a free walk on a long rein is worth double mark. So the walk is so important, and as Cameron said to me up at Launceston, yes it was Launceston, he said, like, go away, get working on your walk, you will forever have that problem going forward. So it is like basically going back to basics. I've got some ideas, mention back to basic, in my head of what to go up there and do, and it's going to be very obviously things that I've done with Fred and Cameron recently, but also Bobby Haler when I did the back to basics dressage with Horse and Country. And when I was riding Oscar, she literally had me doing like a zigzag, going back and forth right from the word go, just to get naturally bending around my inside leg and settling, sponging that contact and settling into the walk. So yeah, I've got a few ideas like that in my head. I don't think I am going to have anybody come up and film, so I'm going to take up my tripod and I'm going to set it up and just have it film over, and then I thought I might do like a little bit of a voiceover of what I'm doing, what I'm pleased with, that sort of thing. And then I'm going to take Spritey up there. Spritey, again, hasn't got much fitness at the moment, have you? She is also a very woolly mammoth. I think I'm going to give you a bath today, and then I'm going to get you clipped tomorrow. Yeah, because you are... I actually wonder whether I should get you bath now and whether I clip you before riding you, actually. What time are we? Have we got enough time? 3:20. Yeah, probably have. I'm just thinking that actually she's going to get so warm up there. Not that again, she hasn't got much fitness, so we can't do very much, but just trying to get her back schooling a little bit to help her stay supple. She's just been doing lots and lots of hacking recently, which is absolutely fine, but I just think to try and keep her workload as well a bit varied. I think I said this all on Instagram the other day, just to keep it mixed up for her, because I do feel like she gets a little bit stale of just hacking around the same countryside all the time. So yeah, just go up there and basically have a little play in his white. Addie is groomed, just need to pop some boots on. And we'll get up there because my pony is really looking like she is ready to go. You sleeping? We are on board, heading up. Yeah, we're going in there, Addie. And it looked nice. It's all freshly mowed for you. Looking good. And I've got the trot panels out already. The fence is down because I left it down. And yeah, I definitely need to put the box on the back of it next time, because when I'm up above it, you can really see the lines and the circles. Yeah, we'll do that for next time. Good girl. So Addie hasn't actually been in my grass arena, welcome to my grass arena, very much at all. She came up here a couple of weeks ago before we headed to Pontypool, because I wanted to practice my test. No, before Launceston to practice my test. Actually, it was at Tina's that I went in Tina's arena, and isn't it funny? Like, I don't mind taking her in a field. She's never silly or strong or anything like that, but I think it's just because they are obviously out in this field, so they probably see it as a bit of, I think it's to do with like playtime, and I know that did probably scare me a little bit with Lola when she was younger, but I did get, yeah, as she got older, then I was able to bring her up here, but I never really utilised it up here. But I am determined to utilise it more with Addie, and she, when I last brought her up here, was so good. She's done like lunging and poles and in-hand stuff up here, but I've never really come up here and done a full session schooling until last time that I came up. So yeah, I'm excited to get using this more. And I found, because it's not perfectly flat, and when you go eventing, when do you ever find a perfectly flat arena? You don't. And I found that this really helped Sprite with her dressage, so that is what I'm helping. Oh yeah, Dad's also, this is where Dad puts his muck heap, right next to my arena, which isn't the most beautiful, but it's a bit of reality, so apologies about that in the background. But I'm gonna set the camera up now. She's, as you can see, she's just been walking around, just nice, chilled, on a long rein. So now I will yeah, pop you over onto a stand. Good girl, you know that I'm coming up to hold, don't you? Good girl. And I'll pop it up. I'll just try and focus it on one bit, I think, but my mum might be coming up, so at least I can do that. But I am going to have to get off, set the camera up. So yeah, over to a bit of a voiceover. Every schooling session for me starts by asking Siri to put on a timer. So as you can hear, 15 minutes is what I start with. I find that then if she's been absolutely fantastic and I feel that we've done enough, she's worked well, 15 minutes is ample. Nice, short, sweet session. But if perhaps I need to do something on another rein, or she's been a little bit more difficult, then I will add on another 5 minutes, and it basically goes in multiples of 5. So I could finish a session at 20 minutes, 25 minutes, maybe even 30 if needed. But as you can see there, I'm starting off in the walk. As I said, I'm ignoring her head, I'm sponging the contact, but I'm actually trying to make her move with my outside aid. So using my outside leg, getting her to bend hopefully around my inside leg as well. And you can see that by the end of that, she's really started to just naturally settle down into that contact without me having to be like, come on, get down there, I want you to be there. Then I've gone around, I've done that a couple of times and come back to try doing a halt against the pole. Now, halting isn't our forte. anything that's slow, I don't find Addie likes very much. And again, here I come around and you can see she always wants to swing out. Now, ideally, I need to have a pole on the other side, and that is something that I will work on for another day. But my aim is just trying to get her just to learn to stand there, that halting is part of it. And then this is where, in the session, we've gone a little bit out of camera there, but she stops. She thinks that she's doing another halt. I'm looking around to see, like, has she got a fly or something like that? But actually, I think she was being a little bit nappy. So I'm like, right, let's get on, let's get in trot. Just try and work on the rhythm. And here she's being really stuffy. She's not wanting to go off of my leg. And I'm just trying to just keep her sweet, basically. I bring her back into that walk transition. I pop onto a circle here, again using the same aids as I was on that, like, almost serpentine exercise through the poles, just to get her listening to my outside rein, but hopefully also encouraging her to bend around my inside leg. Then we pop back into trot again. I'm trying to just keep it a little bit varied, and here go down over the poles, hoping that that will keep her a bit distracted, a bit sweet. And then the camera timed out, so it only runs for 5 minutes. Now, a lot has happened in between these two clips. Mum has actually been down and got some lunge lines. I've lunged her and she trotted around fine. So I got back on, she looked absolutely fine, and I've just gone, do you know what, let's just try to move forward, get off my leg, and just work on that rhythm. So you can see there I'm coming in a little bit like I did in Fred's lesson, coming in and doing 3 poles off of a turn. Then doing a little bit more on the walk here. She just got a bit tense and went to jog, so I just carry on walking, and I am really just trying to sit heavy, keep my leg on. Then here I'm asking her to move away from my leg, which eventually she does do. But that was something that Cameron said, like, in a test you need to make sure that she does respond to my legs. And here, as you can probably hear from me on the day, she got that canter transition lovely. Now, I only did 1 canter on each rein because we had no studs in. I didn't want to risk it, but I did almost want that canter forward, that forward thinking. And then again here, I'm trying to work on the relaxation within the free walk, trying to push her on, make her over track but not to jog is a very fine line. And then I'm trying to bring her back really gently, and you can see she's just very much against my hand and not really interested in wanting to come back into a nice contact. And then again, I find these little half turns, full 10-meter circles really, really good, just to get her, as I've mentioned, off of my outside aids, but also bending around my inside leg. And you can see here I'm doing a bit of now give and retake, which once she's in that frame and you've got the rhythm, she does stay there really nicely and really sweetly. Again, using these poles just as a bit of a distraction to also change the rein. And then we finally are starting to get some really good work. Yeah. That walk transition, I was really chuffed with that. And again, practicing that free walk on a long rein, slowly gathering up my reins to then bring her back into walking again. Here, another, probably call it actually a 5-meter circle more than a 10-meter circle. Perhaps wouldn't do that in trot, but in walk it's really helpful. And that is what then gave us that really lovely transition up into trot. So I need to note that to do again. And then it's time to canter on the right rein, which wasn't the best of transitions at all, but we got the right canter lead. So considering how this schooling session has gone, I was very pleased with that. And then she follows it with a lovely downward transition as well. And I think I go, that's enough. She's done everything in the end what I've wanted her to do. Well, that was not how I was expecting it to go. I feel like I may have jinxed myself when I walked into the arena and was telling you guys on how good Addie had been last time that I was up. Here, we're here again, take number 2, we're on Sprite now, so just going to leave her walk literally super loose rein just to get her warmed up. Probably won't take her long to warm up because she's got such a thick coat, so we won't be doing very much at all. And as I mentioned, her fitness isn't really up to that level. But back to Addie, I feel like that session didn't really have any structure. It was basically just tried to keep her going forward. When she first started being napping, if I'm honest, and I was like, oh, didn't even worry about the camera, because then I was worried. I was like, oh, is she in pain? Because that is the first thing that you think of, isn't it? Is there something that is hurting her? She's sore or anything like that? But Mum went back down, got my lunge lines, and came back up, lunged her, and she was absolutely fine, trotting around, no problem. So much so I completely forgot about the camera. I had it set up on that barrel over there, and I was just completely forgot about it, and was like, I just want to make sure that she is okay. And yeah, thankfully put her on the lunge and she was all fine, trotting around, no problem. I then got back on and yeah, I used my voice a bit, I growled a bit, and just made her go forward. Wasn't worried about the head or the carriage or anything like that. I just wanted her going forward. When my leg goes on, she goes forward. And thankfully we did get there, and then we worked on getting more relaxed. We did do a little bit on the walk, but I didn't feel like she was in the right frame of mind. I said to Mum, like, maybe it's coat changing season. I've really noticed recently how much her coat has really started to come out. She's gone, yeah, she's not quite fluffy, but just I can see that the change is happening. Basically, there's a lot of loose hair coming out, so it might just be one of those things. Yeah, it's just that is horses and reality, and I was so tempted not to bother with carrying on this vlog, but I was like, no, it's reality. With horses, we all have our good days and bad days, and it wasn't actually that horrendous. She was just a little bit nappy and didn't want to go forward, but we worked through it together. So the session didn't go how I was expecting it to go, but that's absolutely fine. We overcame it together, and we did do some nice work. Definitely found that she was getting more tense after that canter, so I only did literally one canter on each rein. The rest of it was all trot and walk, but just trying to keep the rhythm, keep the relaxation. But yeah, overall it was good. Just wasn't how I was expecting it to go. But anyways, we're now on Spritey Woo. We're gonna walk around like we are now for a little bit. We have changed the rein, and then yeah, we're gonna do a short sweet session, aren't we, Spritey? And then I'm going to give you a bath afterwards. Never mind how little or much I do, I know that you are going to be sweating. So yeah, nice bath afterwards, and then you can be clipped tomorrow. Let's go. I was thinking it'd probably be good to put this in a different place, but actually I quite like it from that angle. On to Sprite's schooling session. Now, admittedly, we do an awful lot of walk, so apologies if it's a little bit boring. And I mean, I don't even know if all these voiceovers, even over at Addie's, is useful, helpful to you or not. But I've just, yeah, we walk around, nice loose rein, just getting her to loosen up, basically. Bless her. She is 27. She is not a spring chicken, and she is, when she starts, is a little bit stiff. And there is, unfortunately, nothing with that I will be able to change, but I can just try and warm her up as best as I possibly can. So I'm starting off now. We've obviously walked around whilst I've been chatting to you guys on the camera as well, but I'm now just making her do smaller steps, as you can see there, just bringing her back, when actually she probably should have a quicker tempo in the smaller steps, but that's something perhaps I can work on. And then I push her on again to make her walk out, and then again here I've brought her back. So I do quite a lot of that, like we do in the trot. You bring them back, you push them forward. You can do that in walk as well. And there I just did a bit of a right angle turn just to turn her off of, again, my outside aids, and I've started to push her out, try to make her walk open and a bit more free. And then I'm just getting her here, literally going off of my inside leg and trying to get her to move across. Then I'm making her move back over on the other. Not big steps. I'm not asking her to do massive steps. And there she is, quite leading with her shoulder. I'm just trying to get her moving and get her supple. And you can see there into the trot that she really bounces, like really springs up into the trot, which is actually not what she should do at all. And here I'm not trying to force her to be in a contact. I've actually got quite long reins, just because I want her just to be nice and loose and to warm up slowly to bring that frame up. At her age, she knows what schooling her job is. So she is naturally going to be in that bit of a frame, but it's probably a little bit lower than I would want. But that's hopefully stretching over her back and engaging her core and trying to warm her up all properly. So we're doing some walk trot transitions. And you can see that the bounce into the trot gets better as we progress through this session. She definitely, she loses that bounce. And then we walk again. So there's a lot, because I said that her fitness isn't quite... I don't know if her fitness will ever come back, to be quite honest with you. Me just checking my timer, because I have got a timer on for Sprite as well, because I don't want to go over a long period of time, because I can quite easily, and that is why I set it, because I can quite easily lose myself in schooling on any pony, especially Spritey. I enjoy doing things and Sprite responds really well. So I just end up losing myself, and then before I know it, an awful lot of time has passed. And Sprite's probably like, okay, I'm done now, mum. But you can see the frame is starting to lift up now. She's just done a lovely serpentine, bending, obviously, going around the serpentine, bending left and right. Then we walk again. So I make sure that she has plenty of walk breaks. That's what I was saying before, going on about the timer. I make sure that she has plenty of walk breaks, catch her breath, stretch out. And I mean, regardless whether she had fitness in her or not, I would still do that for Sprite, just because of her age, to give her that little bit of a breather. We've now popped into canter, and canter also, again, I'm allowing her to be quite long and loose. I'm in a raised seat so that I'm off of her back to begin with. Again, we have another walk. Just again, we haven't cantered for loads of time. But we have just had another walk just to, again, allow her to catch her breath. And then we will pop into canter on the left rein and do exactly the same of getting up out of the saddle. Now, Spritey is very responsive into canter. Bless her, she is very good. I love her. And I love that she still loves doing it. She still wants to do it. And I still very much enjoy doing it with her, but it just helps her to stay that bit of supple and keep that like elasticity, I can't say that word, in her muscles, even at her age. So I do think even if you came up here and just did the whole session in schooling, it still helps their muscles, their joints and everything like that. And of course, as I said, the ground has gone so much softer now. Then I have this random idea of, and this is what I mean, like you can just have a bit of fun with her, is trying to walk her over. I know people do this in hand, and I'm sure people do it when on board as well. I don't know what I'm asking for here. So Sprite's like, what are you asking me to do, mum? As you can tell, Sprite and I have never done that before, but I thought I'd just give it a little bit of a go, just as a bit of a break mid-session really. She's warmed up and then just seeing if we can do it. And bless her, she's a clever cookie. She does do it in the end. But we struggle going back the other way. We've got one foot the other side of the pole there. But never mind. Then I'm like, right, okay, let's carry on with the session. Lovely walk canter transition there. And I think we then come across, if I'm correctly, and we do a serpentine. So these are the things that I used to do with her. Back down to walk and canter again. So I wouldn't do this unless she was properly warmed up and ready to do this, or do any hard, don't get me wrong, this isn't like a really hard movement, but always making sure that she is warmed up well enough. And I then have shortened my reins and made her perhaps work a little bit more rounder. And you can see her trot is so much better than when she first started, and I definitely do find canter is a great thing for that. Canter really does help her loosen up that back end as well, but her trot is so much better. And then she's heard the timer and she knows that she's finished. Spritey's just free range at the moment, aren't you? Need a wash off. She's all untacked and ready. She's filthy as well, hence the reason she is having a bath now, Sprite, aren't you, to get you all clean and ready for a much needed, it's when they go like really wavy, isn't it? Or excuse the state of my nails. I was meant to do them this weekend and I still haven't got around to doing them. But I have schooled both ponies today, so a bit of a different vlog. I know people have messaged me being like, oh, I haven't seen Spritey featured. And to be honest, it's just because she hasn't really been doing very much. Have you? No, it's as well. Summer for Spritey isn't her favourite time of the year, especially this summer with it when it was so hot, the ground so hard. Spritey does struggle with the heat and the hard ground. She's got pads in her feet, but even still, the hardness of the ground this year was ridiculous, basically, wasn't it? So bless her, she is starting to feel much more like herself, and I know once all this is clipped off, she definitely will be even more, I'm sure. Admittedly, didn't go as smoothly as I was hoping it to, but that is horses. Just like us, we have our good days, our bad days. There's so many things that you can think, and the only one that I was really obviously concerned about is that was she in pain? And when I put her on the lunge and could see that she was trotting nicely, she wasn't lame, she wasn't throwing her head up in the air, she was absolutely fine. I then knew that it's not pain related. And it could just be that she, well, like us, having a bad day. It's coat changing season. I know that that can affect them. She might be growing, she might have growing pains or something like that. And that is sometimes when I'm really like, I wish you could just talk to me and tell me, because the last thing I want to do is obviously if she was to be in pain. But I don't think it was, because like I say, on the lunge, she was absolutely fine, and also put her down on quite a tight circle and still absolutely fine. So I don't think it was. I think you were just having a bit of an off day. But I wanted to share that to keep it, I hope I don't get any hate for it, but to keep the reality. I've obviously posted a lot of videos, vlogs, and posts on Instagram of good times with Addie recently. She has been absolutely super, but I don't want people out there that have got young horses to think, oh, once you've been eventing, that's it, you're plain sailing. It's really not, and you'll still have these days that you just need to not dwell on, move on, just try and get something that you can achieve out of it. So yes, I went up there with the plan of working on our walk. It didn't happen, but we did do some other good work around the poles, getting her to move off of both of my legs, and yeah. So yes, it might not have been what I was exactly planning to do, but it was still good, and there's lots of good points to take out of it, but not going to dwell and not going to worry or let that stay in my head. I reckon next time I take her up there, she'll be an absolute angel. So yeah, but I wanted to share it just so that it may help others, because I do know when you're sat at home scrolling through Instagram, YouTube, and you're seeing people posting all these wonderful videos that it's all going really well and swimmingly, and like it just seems really easy, don't be fooled. That, and people, you're only seeing, like, say somebody's got 4 stories up, that's only 4 minutes of their whole entire day that they have decided to share with you. A reel is what, 60 seconds as well. Like, it's only that little snapshot that they're sharing, so don't be disheartened if you're at home and having a bad day. Over and out from us 3. Hey, are we all in shot? Spritey's like, yes, I need my bath, and then you can have your dinner, can't you? Oh, Spritey. You're going to feel so much better when you've been clipped, aren't you? Yeah. Can't wait to see you all clipped up. And then you probably need clipping soon, but I'm not sure you do. Ah! It's like ignoring her when she does that as well, isn't it? So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little spontaneous schooling vlog. The camera batteries have just come up to sit. Well, the camera battery has just said it is exhausted, but I haven't got any others that are here and charged. So I think that is a sign I need to wrap this up. I hope you guys have enjoyed this vlog as always. A little bit of a different one, but I'm hoping a nice chilled, kind of relaxed one. Let me know in the comments below if you have enjoyed it. Please do also hit that like button and hit that all important subscribe button if you don't already. But until next time, the 3 of us, we'll see you all very, very soon. Bye.